Hashtag RevOps. What is it? What does it do? Being a software company, we've been following the DevOps trend for a long time. RevOps is now picking up in popularity. It's really quite interesting to see. If you are a scaling business, if you're a tech business, or you're a rapidly growing business, you're going to want a RevOps function in your business. You're going to want to put together a RevOps team. What does it mean? Well, the idea is you're going to be bringing your revenue function and your sales function together. That's the purpose. Your sales funnel can now be filled from lots of different areas. And I'll go into these in more detail. Your finance team need more data. They can no longer just work from invoices open and invoices closed or invoices paid. This is about understanding which accounts are active, which accounts are not active, which accounts the sales team should then go and target, which accounts may be in debt, and those kind of things. So we're actually right across the organization, similar to the CRM days, we are looking at how your revenue process or your revenue function can be identified in every single department across your business. Yes, RevOps basically refers to sales, operation, and revenue, but there's lots of operations across your organization, and this is where Mapsimise and data all comes into play, because you're going to want to understand all of the things. You know, this is a bit like the CRM days when CRM first came out, and there is a thought here that a CRM system was for a given function like case management or sales management, or it had to be extended to do certain things. But at the end of the day, a CRM was all about understanding the customer journey within your organization and the touch points from within your organization with your customer. RevOps is pretty similar, or what we want to achieve now is understand what all of these touch points, what all of these bits of content, all the bits of video you make, all the bits of blogs, posts, social media posts, how that generates sales and sales leads and sales activity. What does that mean from a revenue point of view? How far up the funnel is it? Is it top level funnel, or has it worked its way down the funnel? Are prospects interested in your product or service? And what does that look like from a finance point of view? All of that data then needs to be passed to finance. These systems need to integrate. If you've got your ERP, your CRM, your finance system, they should all be talking to each other. Any other databases you've got, that should link together. And this is where Mapsimise and location intelligence comes into play, because with that, you can start to overlay and understand where your sales are coming from, which areas of the country or countries are generating the most revenue. So you can identify all of your data by location. And by doing that, you can then create trends. Is this part of the country generating more revenue? And does it continue to generate more revenue for us on an ongoing basis? Or is it in decline? What marketing are we doing around this area to that area? So you can actually do trend analysis using your own data. This gives you real insight to what's happening where. It gives you insight to what's happening when. And it obviously gives you insight into what interest is being driven by the activity that you're actually doing with your sales team. A lot of people do make this mistake. A lot of business owners make this mistake. A lot of business owners that are scaling up a business tend to focus on ramping up the sales team. So they'll ramp up the sales team, they'll do lots of outbound, they'll be on the phones, they'll be doing lots of e-campaigns with marketing, and they'll be push, but they're not actually analyzing what they're doing. They're not actually analyzing from a sales activity point of view what this means from a revenue point of view in the business. So you should absolutely be doing this. You should be looking at how your revenue operation matches your sales operation. No salesperson wants to be told that they've closed a deal but it can't go forward because the account is in arrears. And no finance person wants to have all of these sales opportunities coming through to realize that accounts are in debt. So this is a great way of understanding what is actually happening within your organization. So that's why we do RevOps. I have written a blog on this. You can find that on the Mapsimise blog site. That's blog.mapsimise.com. There will be more shorts and more videos on RevOps across the next couple of weeks. This is about understanding your data in your organization. So let's break this down. So let's have a look at some of the roles that are involved with your RevOps team. Right, so what is your RevOps team actually going to be looking at? Well, one of the first steps is to understand all of your data holistically across all of your organization, and it all should be joined up. 85% of your business data has a location element to it, so it can be easily tracked and you can easily understand and do some analysis by location to understand what is happening where. But your RevOps team is going to be looking at product operations. Your product operations, if you're a software tech company like we are, then you're going to be running DevOps, which is a bit like RevOps, but DevOps is about development in a silo and then actually feedback from customers. So you're joining actual operations and development together and bringing that together. With revenue and operations, you're obviously bringing the interest in the product and the financial element. So your RevOps team are going to be looking at product operations. They're going to be looking at your sales operations. They're also going to be looking at your partner operations. If you're running a partner program, you may be making sales across third-party marketplaces. So they're going to be looking at those as well to see how much revenue is generated from those. Your RevOps team are also going to be looking at how you generate opportunity and what your product catalog and your licensing catalog look like, what any discounts may be applied. Are you e-commerce based? So they're going to be looking at transactional activity through your e-commerce site as well. They're going to be looking at billing and how frequently you bill, if it's a monthly subscription or an annual subscription. They're also going to be looking at refunds and complaints. Compliance is obviously a really big one, and your organization should absolutely be managing your compliance and understanding where you should be compliant, especially with data, especially if you're in the EU and the UK with GDPR, and you should be following the guidelines for that. Your RevOps team might be looking at the right now, and this is what's happening right now, but they're also going to be giving input into your digital strategy going forward. This is actually quite key because you want to grow, you want to scale up as a business. So scaling up means, what is the future looking like? If you haven't got the foundation right, then you can't scale. And this goes back to me saying some business owners or those without as much experience do get this wrong because they just kind of run at it like a bull in a china shop, and then you're not actually getting that foundation, that really solid foundation to actually grow on and scale up from. And finally, what is the cost for compensation and remuneration of your team? How does that look? How from a revenue point of view, is that going to scale up? Is there commission involved? Is it just a revenue-based play? And is there a share element into that as well? So your RevOps team have got quite a lot to do. This isn't usually one person. It is going to be a team of people, especially if you're scaling, and you need to bring all of that data together. And obviously with CRM and Mapsimise, we can help you with those key functions. What are the key outputs of putting a RevOps team together? Well, that's a pretty good question. It's not one I can answer in full detail in this short video, but I will be doing more on this subject. It's really quite interesting because I'm a bit of a data geek. So there's a couple of things that your RevOps team want to output. There's a couple of things that they want to understand within your business. The first one is the identification of cost per customer. So how much does it cost me as a business owner to acquire a new customer? And this is really important. Your RevOps team are also going to be looking at your ARR, your annual repeat revenue. They're going to need to look at projecting growth for that ARR and understand what the churn is, what the drop-off is, and what the satisfaction rate is. This also goes for your monthly recurring revenue. How are you growing your monthly recurring revenue if you're on a monthly subscription plan? What is the churn? What is the drop-off? And what is the satisfaction rate as well? I'm a big fan of focusing on our monthly recurring revenue, our MRR. Not too worried about our annual repeat revenue because the way we work, everything is on a monthly subscription. So we're looking to scale that on a monthly basis. We're looking to grow our monthly revenue year on year by 30%. Your RevOps team are going to want an output of the full life cycle of a customer. They're going to want to understand the full project value of any customer and the life cycle spend of any customer. Again, churn rate, understanding why drop off, and those key indicators to say customers are happy or customers aren't happy. And this goes back to a little bit of the CRM strategy that should also be in your business. If you do want to see my videos on CRM, you'll need to go over to my CRM group on YouTube, and you can see some of the content there for understanding your CRM strategy as well. And finally, one of the key outcomes is customer adoption. Are you creating fans of your product and service? Are you getting references? How many references are you getting? Are your customers promoting what you do and saying how good it is? From a social media and from a strategy point of view, you want as many customers to become raving fans as possible. And you want those customers to tell other people about what you do. That's the whole word of mouth piece, but in this digital world, in this social media world that we now live in, nobody actually believes corporate, hey, we're amazing. So you need your customers to tell people how amazing you actually are. Those are obviously the outcomes of your RevOps activity, and there is going to be others. I've not gone into it in massive detail. How to get there? Well, you're going to need to create a dataverse. All of your dataverse should be connected. All of your systems should be connected. You could go for full integration and automation, where the data flows between all of the systems, and then you output with the analytics. You can export that data, make sure it's tagged and identified so it all matches up. You can bring data into our Mapsimise platform from different connectors, so from your CRM or from the Microsoft Dataverse. You can also import that data into different data tables to do your analysis. So you could bring it from your finance system, you could bring it from any other data source. You may be running on spreadsheets, you may have customer data. So we can help you with all of that and bring all of that together too. I'm a big fan of integration and automation, but if you can't afford to do that right now, then understanding and analyzing the data first will help you grow. Helping you grow means you can then integrate these systems. It's a twofold activity, but one thing is for absolutely sure, and I will close off with this, is that RevOps or implementing RevOps in your organization is not an overnight success activity. It's not something that you can do in a week. It is a journey. It is something that you're going to implement bit by bit and get the whole team across your whole organization on board. Bring all of the data, understand all of the data, all of the financial metrics and all of the customer metrics. And that way you can actually gain the real insight that your business needs to grow and to prosper. Okay, that is it for now on this one. I will be breaking some of these RevOps terms down in future videos. I'll also be looking at DevOps as well and some other sort of business features around how you can use Mapsimise.com to implement some of the really good things that location intelligence delivers. But for now, I will see you next time.